I just absolutely loved our theme for the month, the wizard within, that within each and every one of us, there is such power, such energy, such opportunity that we have to make a difference. And I've been going through the archetypes. And remember, an archetype is a universal model. And that when Carl Jung coined this phrase, he was, looking at the various energies that we embody. And so he came up with 12 major archetypes that we've been looking at, which was, of course, the innocent, that each of us, as we embody the energy of Dorothy, that we're on an adventure of life, and that we feel the beckoning when her elder tells her, Dorothy, just go stay out of trouble. Just get out of here right now. Dear Aunt Em was counting chickens with Uncle Henry, right? Because the incubator wasn't working properly. And so she thought, oh, where can I go? And where was it? Somewhere over the rainbow, right? Where that arc and the energy and the color and the substance of this energy. And of course, in the movie, she does it, Judy Garland does it so beautifully, doesn't she? And I wanted Fleet, who is so special with this song, to sing it before every service so that you could get the energy of this overarching realization of our spirituality and our oneness, because it is International Month of Gay Pride. And I have acknowledged our gay community extensively. It's because of you our doors are opened. And so I just want to say that. I want to acknowledge you, and I want to tell you I love you, and that we are all friends of Dorothy here. I want you to know that, okay? And we looked at the innocent, and then we went into the orphan, and then we went into the warrior energy, where we get that energy going. And then from the warrior, we go into the caregiver, giving care to ourselves and others in the energy field that are looking outside themselves for what they think they need. Because energetically, that scarecrow is within each of us, wanting to move through ignorance, right? And to embody a greater realization of sacred wisdom. And of course, in the film and the book by L. Frank Baum, the scarecrow is very wise. He just doesn't know it yet, right? And within each of us, there is this place of wisdom. There is a wellspring. We just need to tap into it. And when we tap into it, it's amazing what unfolds for each and every one of us, because we get it, that we are not alone, that we are deeply connected, intimately connected, one with the other. And I was on a Zoom call this week with all of the world peace leaders and people that are doing amazing work with Karen Palmer. And energetically, we know that when Helen Keller said, together we can do so much, but alone we can do so little. And I was going to Africa every year for several years. And there's a beautiful African proverb. It said, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. If you want to go far, go together. In other words, it's not about the pace, right? Yeah, we can go it alone, but we're going to miss out on so much of the substance of life and the energy of one another. But if you want to go far, go together, hand in hand, recognizing that we're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. And as they lock arms with the scarecrow, the Tin Man who's fully oiled, he's come out of his crystallized belief system. And then the cowardly lion, as Claudia read so beautifully and shared so beautifully, with that courage that is within us is not looking outside ourselves and bullying people. It's about going within. Now, I was listening to a lecture this week by Carolyn Mace, and she talked about woundology. And each of us has, I call it a sacred wound. If we've dealt with it, it's a sacred wound. And out of that, we serve others out of the sacred wound. And this woundology is an interesting energy because many people, that's their story. And it was fascinating. I was in the Mineral Hot Springs, and I go up there every evening to do my physical therapy. And a gentleman came in and he told me that he had just turned 83. And I said, oh, congratulations. And he said, and I just had hip surgery. And I said, well, congratulations again. And he said, yes, I can finally walk without pain. And as he started to tell me about, some of the history of what he was going through, I said, let's focus on where you are at this moment. You are pain-free. And see, that habituated part of us wants to go into all that we went through. And believe me, I've gone through some things myself, and I know what that is. And when you've gone through it and you come out on the other side, it becomes the sacred wound, because we learned, we grew, we served others out of it. And I have shared that my life was defined by being raised in domestic violence, and that my sister took one path of addiction and alcohol, and I took the path of spirituality. That when there's the fork in the road and we're like Dorothy saying, which way should we go? We look up. There's a scarecrow saying, you can go this way, or you can go this way, or you can go both ways. Which way should we go? We are guided by our intuition. And when she lets the scarecrow off the pole, energetically, she opened up her own consciousness, didn't she? And she listened to the still small voice and was on the yellow brick road, on the way to the Emerald City, on the way to see the wonderful Wizard of Oz, not realizing that Oz energy, that God energy was within each of them. And so when they find the Tin Man and they lock arms, and the cowardly lion, he has, all of his tears, and he's just afraid of everything, even about falling asleep. And then, of course, the Tin Man says, well, why don't you count sheep? And he says, I'm even afraid of the sheep. I'm a coward. Well, we all have felt that energy of being fearful, fear-based thinking. And then we gather around positive energy, supportive energy. Now, if you've gathered around you unsupportive energy, there's a part of you that does not feel supported and wants to validate it by the Wicked Witch of the West. Now, remember, the Wicked Witch of the East was killed by the house that landed on her own crystallized belief systems that never got out of Munchkin land. And then what happens? There's a sister. There's the evil twin, right, that comes up. Now, in the archetypes, when we looked at the innocent, the orphan, the warrior, and the caregiver, where we begin to start taking care of ourselves, we go into the next quadrant, which is the seeker. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all good things are added unto you, right? Seek ye first that kingdom within you that has never been touched by grief, that has never given offense nor taken offense. It is the place of power within each of us that we tap into. This archetype of the seeker: seek, right, and ye shall find. Ask, and what? It shall be given. Knock, and the door shall be opened unto you. So if we take action and put action with intention and the works with the faith, right? Doors open. They open for us, and they are opening. And when we look at woundology and this whole thing of the seeker, and then the seeker goes into the lover, and it starts with self-love, and that we love our neighbor as ourselves, which presupposes that we love ourselves. And many of us were raised with, be humble, be modest, being self-evasive. This was like, the order of the day, so we wouldn't be appearing egotistical. But the lover begins with self, and then it extends out to others, doesn't it? And as we love one another in the energy of ourselves, it flows over into everyone. And so on this journey from the seeker, the lover, and then what archetype? The destroyer. That's the Wicked Witch of the West, the destroyer, right? And it's so interesting because out of the ashes, the phoenix arises, right? The burnt offerings of all the past that was there, and how this woundology comes up. You know, I think I've mastered many things. I have been in the ministry 46 years, and I've been teaching this way of life, and I feel, you know, very grounded in this way of life, and that I've taught really thousands of students throughout my 46 years of the ministry, and the science of mind and conscious languaging, and how to release what no longer serves us. And it was really interesting. I had someone call me, one of our community, and he had a gift for me. And he had actually bought 2 sizes. He wanted me to try them on to see which one fit. So he wanted to come over up here to Desert's Edge from Palm Springs. And he mentioned who he was having lunch with. And the person that he was having lunch with, it's interesting, they had had a falling out, and this person was a very, very negative person, and he created a lot of havoc in our ministry. And he said some very unkind things about me. He hadn't really healed it with his mother. So if we haven't healed it with our mother, guess what? Any woman in authority, you know, we're going to project onto her. But he was very unkind and said some very unkind things. And when he said who he was having lunch with, I said, you come alone or you don't come at all. It just came right out of me. You want to come and see me, you come alone or you do not come at all. And as it came out of my mouth, I shared with him, it's one thing if he wanted to come to a service, but this is my home, it's my sacred space. And I don't want that frequency in my energy field. And how unkind he was, and all of the things, the horrible gossip that he spread. And, you know, it's interesting because many people didn't listen to him. When you're grounded in the truth, there is nothing and no thing that is going to disturb your peace of mind, because you know that you know that you know, and not even the gates of hell shall prevail against you, because you know that you know that you know. And I was really kind of surprised by my reaction. And then, of course, Claudia had mentioned that the moon's in Scorpio, and my moon is also in Scorpio, which is a very intense sign. But I also said he needs to make amends for his behavior. And I just bless him. And I said, you know, it's interesting that this came up for me. And, you know, I'm just going to return it to its native nothingness. But I do take a stand that only the frequencies that vibrate at the highest level enter into my sacred space. And it's one thing if I'm out and there's a service and people come, and believe me, I have had people worship me. They have given me wonderful accolades throughout the years. And I am so grateful for all of you that believe in my work, that are so self-affirming. And for those of you that have projected onto me, guess what? That destroyer energy has allowed me to take the ashes and arise phoenix-like to the next level. And I mean, I've had people say, I'm going to take her down, you know, all of this kind of outrageous stuff that they've said. And I just learned to bless and curse not. And do I have a reaction once in a while? Yes, I do. My humanness is there. My feet are clay. And when it comes up, I go, oh, isn't that interesting? It's come up to be healed, to send compassion and to send light to those that don't feel powerful. So when someone doesn't feel powerful, they're the wicked witch of the West. They're looking in the crystal ball saying, I'm going to send a little poison in the poppy field over here and put them out. I'm going to take them out. Well, guess what? The good witch of the North sent what? Snowflakes to wake them up in the poppy field. Just as when we are down and out in the poppy field, that there is another opportunity for us to awaken. That all those little snowflakes, no 2 snowflakes are exactly alike, right? You know, awakening us in the energy from the beyond, because Glenda represents a higher power. The divine feminine, which comes from the heart energy that unfolds from the heart. So as the wicked witch from the West is the destroyer archetype and say, I'm taking them down. I'm just going to put it in. And she said, and I'm going to make it very pretty. And it will smell good too, but it'll be poison. Well, every time we speak something that is not for the highest and good, does not forward ourselves, others, and the planet, that's the poison, right? That which we utter becomes the outer. But if we are in alignment with spiritual principles, the energy of the higher power awakens us to the truth of our being, and we look up, we see the Emerald City. Now, the Emerald City is heart energy. Remember, the green is the heart of healing and abundance. And surrounding the heart energy is the pink of forgiveness and compassion, and that we are all subject to the human condition. And when that destroyer energy sweeps in, you know, it's amazing how that happens. And I was so passionate yesterday in just sharing that, you know, some of the things that this person said, and how I had mortgaged my home 3 times so that the doors of our ministry could stay open. I mortgaged all the equity out of it. And I went into everything that I had done. And I was just passionate. And I was very, very clear about this. And then I said, and if I had it to do over again, we do what is most appropriate at the moment. And that the same opening that we give through is the same opening we receive through. And that for people that say, well, you know, ministers and people in spiritual life shouldn't be making money. Well, you know, guess what? If you can't pay, how can you be the light of the world if you can't pay the light bill, right? That when you have responsibilities, you step up to the plate. And I am so grateful that for our interfaith angel. And I am so grateful for those of you who want our message out there so that we can pay our beautiful fleet and take care of what needs to be taken care of. And so it really is interesting how this all bubbled up for me yesterday. And with so much going on the planet and the moon in Scorpio and just all, and I didn't really realize that till Claudia said that this morning. And I said, oh, that's where that came from. He didn't quite know what hit him. He was just having, yeah, right. And he goes, he made amends to me. And I said, well, of course, he had no friends left. And his lover died. So, of course, yes, he turned to you because you have a loving heart and you are very forgiving. And this man is, and he's, you know, through some amazing changes and come to me at various times and, you know, apologize for certain behaviors. So, you know, 46 years in the ministry is not to be laughed at. It is a real achievement. I acknowledge myself for that every time I felt, you know, in a weakened position and I felt fear-based, there was an energy that just came up within me. And that energy is my guiding light. It is the truth that sets me free. It sets you free. Every time you feel that fluttery feeling in your tummy and you feel fear-based, there is an opportunity to feel the snowflakes on your face and awaken. Because right there is the Emerald City within you. And that we all enter in together. So we go from that destroyer energy of the wicked witch from the west and all those that we have felt hurt and wounded by. We take it and then we move in to the next archetype. And I love the next archetype. It's the creator. That we're creating a life that we want to experience. And when they were knocking at the door to get in to see the wizard, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man, woman, hear my voice, let them answer. And I will come into them and sup with them and they with me. And when they finally got in, what happened? We got to clean you up. And they, you know, sent everybody to get shined up and hair done. And I said, they even got a perm to face the wizard. In other words, that we're cleaning up in the energy field to face the energy of our God selves. This is how it works. And that when we discover that wizard, you know, that little Toto energy, that instinctual energy that is very prevalent throughout the entire story, Toto is the instinctual energy and escapes, and love always knows where it wants to be. And he pulls the curtain. There is this little weak man trying to, you know, pull the ropes, and and do his thing, and whatever he conceived a wizard to be. And when Dorothy put her hand on her hip and she just said, "You are a very bad man," what did he say? "Oh no, I'm not a very bad man, but I am a very bad wizard." When we try to be something we're not, the destroyer energy comes in, right? The destroyer energy comes in and it all falls apart. And we looked this month at one of the quotes was that, here are these people that don't feel powerful. And any little power they have, they want to exert it. And it comes out in arrogance and bigotry and all of the negative energies. But when you feel powerful, you want to share your power. You want to bring everybody in. He drew a circle that shut me out. But love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in. This is what love does. So each person receives something very special that we'll talk about next week to represent who they were, because they didn't know who they were. And sometimes we need a diploma. Sometimes we need the medal of courage. And sometimes we need a heart ticking in the outer to acknowledge that love is the strongest power in the universe and unfolds in amazing ways. So we've gone from the seeker, right? The seeker to the lover, loving ourselves enough to make the journey, right? To the destroyer and to the creator. These are the archetypes, the major archetypes that have presumed themselves and insinuated themselves into our daily life, which is our temple and our religion. So today, as we look at the wizard within, and we look at the opportunity to look at brain power, all of the amazing discoveries about the brain today and the plasticity of the brain and reprogramming the brain and the neurons and the synapses that connect. Amazing, right? And we look at heart energy and the heart transplants that have taken place, and how suddenly someone has a craving for something or they have a new interest, which was from the recipient, right? They're the recipient, but from the donor, suddenly they've taken on another energy, right? And of course, energetically, the courage to be in the world, but not of it. The courage to be here now and to open the space and to allow God to do what God does best by means of each and every one of us. And to realize that those wicked witches of the West that have looked outside and projected on us was a gift, because we gathered strength. And that strength, of course, Fleet always says it's going to be in his book, but that strength and that energy, right? Because he went through a lot when he got here, and there was a lot of professional jealousy and things projected on him. And I would just say, isn't that fabulous? You're so popular and you're so wonderful that, and people, look and so they're saying these things that use it as momentum to take you to the next level. You don't need a hot air balloon for that, right? Because you're already at home. So just bless those that curse you and say all manner of evil against you for his name's sake. Because we're about our Father, Mother, God's business on this Father's Day, on this summer solstice full moon, and on this amazing month of International Gay Pride Month. We're here together. And we're all going somewhere. Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. We are in a high place and we will not come down. None of these things move us. We are in a high place and we will not come down. I say namaste. The God in me celebrates the God in you, and the God in you celebrates the God in me. And if I am in that place in me and you are in that place in you, there is only one of us. Namaste. And I say shalom, the peace that passes all understanding. And God bless us, every single one. We're in this thing called life together, and we're off to see the wizard, the wonderful wizard within. And so it is. Thank you.